Þetta Öryrkjaráðið á Samstöðinni og ég heiti María Pétursdóttir og við erum aðeins að færa okkur núna allavega til Bandaríkjanna. En ég ætla að heyra hérna í konu í Bandaríkjunum sem heitir ekki. Hún leikkona og listamaður og hérna við ætlum að heyra aðeins í henni hvernig hérna ameríska heilbrigðiskerfið virkar en hún þekkir það vel að eigin raun. Og hún líka búin að ganga í gegnum mögulega COVID-veikina í Bandaríkjunum. So welcome to our show, Nikki. I just introduced you in Icelandic. So it's really nice having you. So you're located in Seattle in the United States.
Yeah.
So, how is the atmosphere now? I mean.
Well, we had the first American patient came through our airport, so we've been hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
I got sick on March 3rd, so I've been at home since March 3rd, except to go to the hospital and the pharmacy. And then they didn't shut down the city until middle to late last month. So all of the shutdown has happened after I've already been home. So I've just been seeing from other people of everything being closed.
So you will be in a double prison, COVID prison.
Yeah, pretty much. My apartment is starting to feel a little bit like a prison because it doesn't even have a bedroom. The bedroom and the living room are all one room.
Yeah.
And so I've only got one room and I've just been sitting in it for over a month.
Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you got sick. Were there any news of people getting sick in Seattle at that time? In the beginning of
yes. People had been getting sick, so they'd had on the news the symptoms. And when I first started to feel sick, then I started to cancel work and stuff like that because I didn't know either it was the flu or maybe it was coronavirus, and I didn't know. But then I just kept getting sicker. And when I finally went to the emergency room, they said, we don't have any tests. So all they could do is test me for everything else, test me for flu, test me for everything else it could be. And they said, well, it's not any of those things. So it's probably coronavirus, and just assume you have coronavirus because there were no tests. So that's been a big problem. A lot of the people who have it can't get a test because there aren't enough tests for everyone who's sick.
Yeah. There was they thought maybe in Iceland that they would be needing tests at one time, but then they found a huge a lot of tests in some storage, so it was
nice.
Yeah, they were lucky, but otherwise they were thinking about could they manufacture the tests themselves or how should they do it, but but it went well. But
that's good.
But you had something much worse than the flu.
Oh yes, and I'm still having symptoms, and it's been 35 days now, I think.
Yeah, you're still are you coughing or having chest pain and
chest pain, coughing, very very tired. I couldn't get out of bed for days.
Yeah.
So.
And you live alone, so you didn't have anyone who were could you order food or could you
my friends were bringing food and leaving it by the door.
Yeah.
So that was very helpful. I have really good friends to help.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and do you know how many people are sick in Seattle or have been diagnosed now today? Do they have tests today or?
I think that I want to say the number is 8,000 something is the last number I heard. And then I think the number of people who have died is close to 400. I think it keeps changing, and I haven't checked the numbers today.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I was checking the Seattle Times today, and yeah, then the say confirmed cases 8,384 and deaths are 372. Yeah. We have I think we have 6 deaths in Iceland now.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's, well, at least it's not killing everybody.
Not
I
yet,
was a little bit worried.
But I think in Washington State they're talking about that they're seeing flattening of the curve, so probably it's going to get better these coming days.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as people stay inside.
Yeah. Also, I think that many Icelandic people have been worried about the American healthcare. You know, it's kind of very, very different from ours.
Yeah. So you guys, you can go to the hospital, you get sick, you just go to the doctor, and you don't have to pay anything.
Well, we pay a little bit, yes, a little bit, but it's very little, I think, compared to your system.
Yeah. So our system, the first problem is they can charge anything they want. There's no law saying you can only charge so much. Yeah. And then in health insurance, you have to pay like every month, like a subscription to have the health insurance. But you get that health insurance through your job. So if you lose your job, like right now everything is shut down, then you also lose your health insurance.
Okay. You cannot, if you're not in a job, doing some job, you cannot just go to a private, insurance company and buy your insurance.
No, not really. I think there's exceptions. If you're disabled and unmarried and really poor, you can get insurance. And then if there's an emergency, you can get insurance. So I think a lot of people are potentially qualifying under the unemployment, but people aren't able to get that because the system is so overloaded with people that nobody can even get through. Yeah. Like I had a friend that was trying to get on, and they spent, I think, 6 hours trying to get on, and then they finally gave up because they couldn't get through.
So there's probably a lot, but now what do they do now in times of COVID? I mean, there's an epidemic going on. Do they because I've heard in the news that they're talking about everybody is going to have the right to have attention from the doctors, or everybody should.
Yeah.
Are they doing that, or do we have a lot of people in America that have COVID and are dying just up in their homes and nobody knows, or have that problem?
Yeah, there's a big problem with the federal law for the whole country is they have to treat everyone, but each state has different laws. So like Washington State tried to pass guidelines right after I went to the emergency room not to give disabled people ventilator access and to give those to the healthy people. So then
horrible.
Yeah, and so that was right after I went to the emergency room. So I'm like, would they have even treated me? I don't know. And so they're being sued right now because that's federally illegal. The states can't do that. So right now there's a lawsuit, and the government put out a warning saying this is illegal and you have to stop. But there's nothing preventing them from doing that anyway and just lying about it. And so there's been a lot of reports of more African American people are getting it because there's so much prejudice in certain parts of the country that doctors don't want to treat them the same way, and any kind of
problem and we still have that problem in America.
Oh yeah.
And
then the other thing too is African Americans and immigrants are more likely to be in the grocery store working, or on the bus working on the bus, and those are the things that are still open. So they're getting more disproportionately sick because they're the ones that are still working because they're essential service.
Yeah, it's horrible. So so we have to be on the watch, probably all around the world, even in like, yeah, we're supposed to be like society that does have their what do you call it? The well, we yeah. I don't remember the English word right now, but we're supposed to be like civilized, yes.
Yeah.
But we will have to be on the guard about all kinds of mistreatment of people because of their skin color or their class status or their disability or stuff like that.
Yeah, and even because the government wasn't doing enough to like send the military doctors, a church, a homophobic church set up a hospital in Central Park in New York, but they made all the doctor side of things saying that like being gay is evil.
Really? And so they could not treat gay people even? Or
like they're supposed to, like it's illegal for them to say we're not going to, but they made all the doctors sign about how bad being gay is to even work there. And so it's just like, I hope that like the people who are getting sent there by the ambulance, because you don't get to choose. If you go in an ambulance, they just take you to the closest place. And so like that makes me really nervous too, that like these independent hospitals are popping up that are just, they can do what they want.
Yeah. And there's no, and this is all privatized businesses. So there's,
and they're all like businesses, or like that Christian one is like a charity.
Yeah.
It's being run as a charity, but yeah, the only government hospitals are like the military hospitals, which they finally started sending the military doctors now, but they took a long time to start doing that.
Yeah, I heard about also the military ship, the big Navy ship they sent to New York, and because of there was so much paperwork and so few people that like could access the boxes, that after I don't know how many days there were only 3 patients there, and they had 300 rooms or something.
Wow. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. We were supposed to get the second ship in Seattle, and then they rerouted it to Los Angeles at the last minute.
Yeah. So there's also war inside the United States about who is getting what.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
the equipment. So the federal government, rather than sending the equipment to us, they're making us pay and have auction and try to like see who will pay the most money. So finally, California, who has the most money, said this isn't fair. So now they're trying to like bid on behalf of like a whole bunch of states and have.
So the
California would win the auction, but they're like everybody else now has no equipment.
Yeah. So the capitalism is kind of killing people as well in this.
Oh yeah.
Like,
and that the medicine, like the president keeps going on the news and saying like, take this medicine, it will cure you. And all the doctors are like, no, that could kill you. And so we don't know why he's doing that either. Maybe he has
funny. I should not be laughing about this. It's not funny, but it's kind of.
Yeah, no, it's so ridiculous though. And everyone's sitting around going, does he have stock in this medicine company? Why does he keep trying to sell people medicine that could kill them?
Yeah, totally. So. But now the president and they released a savior package or something. They've talked about that, paying people, or as some people call it, a helicopter money, like paying people.
Yeah. So that probably helps people in the countryside more. In the city, like in Seattle, most people's rent is way more than the amount that they're giving out.
Yeah.
And we're not expected to even see that money until next month. So right now, all of these people have to pay rent and they're not working. So how are they going to pay rent?
How are they going to do that? Yeah.
And a lot of people homeless problem. So
yeah. So you're going to see a really humongous problem after the COVID, and people losing their jobs and homes and
so because the government said, the state said you can't be evicted right now because you can't pay your rent, but that means in 3 months, we're going to have to pay 3 months worth of rent at one time.
Yeah.
And so that's not
yeah.
helpful. So.
Yeah. But the country, then the president is also always talking about opening the country again, like tomorrow or something. In the news, but yeah, I heard in the Icelandic.
I think he's thinking about the election because he doesn't want. Right now, there's like there's one news channel that like all of his voters will watch, and that news channel keeps saying that the virus is a myth. So right now, one of the fears is that the election is going to happen, and everybody who believes that the virus is happening will stay home, and everybody who is convinced that the virus is a myth will go out and vote, and then he will win because only his voters will be voting and everyone else will be at home.
Yeah, so you have like a problem with that as well. And probably the virus will come up again and again, and or something.
Yeah. Well, they're saying that it could be like the flu where it happens every year.
Okay.
So that's another thing too.
Yeah. They're talking about, in Iceland now, they're talking about checking if you are immune, if you have gotten it. So maybe you could be like, have a certificate, I'm immune, I've got it, so I can work or I can do that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, so maybe they will do that. So, but they also talk about we will have to do travelers restrictions. Like probably quarantine people if they come here for a while at least, I think.
I know Canada is doing that. I had a friend that tried to go to Canada last night because they're Canadian. They tried to go home, and they were told that if they crossed the border, they'd have to spend 2 weeks in a hotel. But then they couldn't book a hotel because they were coming from here. So
yeah, I mean, it will probably be like a lot of trouble to try to travel the next few months, wherever you try to go, I think. Unless, I don't know, maybe Trump is going to open up the United States just like that. I hope he won't do it just like blinking, you know. I hope you will have some kind of barriers to protect you. Yeah. So this is a kind of scary times we're living, a bit of scary times. And strange.
Are most of the Icelanders staying home, or?
I have been like staying home myself for almost as long as you. Not quite, but I think since maybe 10 days less. I think I've been home since the 13th or something like that. 13th of March, in total isolation. And I asked my husband as well to just be home, and my daughter is not going to school because I of course have underlying problems. So so I'm not. I just don't want to get it. This horrible flu.
No, it's horrible.
Yeah, and it's of course for many people with some kind of sickness or disability, it's much more dangerous to us. So it's I'm very, very glad that you you have gotten mostly through it.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. Did you had asthma or something before, or?
I had a lung infection in 2008, and it left scars on my lungs.
Yeah.
Which they're saying that also COVID might do. It might leave like permanent scars on your lungs.
Yeah.
And then that makes it harder to breathe and easier to get sick.
Yeah. Well, it's at least if you get like ARDS, ARDS, like I got 1.5 years ago, when you kind of the lungs just collapse. Kind of, it's what happens if you get very sick and get into the like the respiratory breathing machines and all that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I got COVID. I don't need it again.
Yeah.
That's really what happens after that. You get scars in your lungs. So, yeah. But I hope you will get totally well after this experience, and
Yes.
and I hope we will kind of have to hope for a miracle in the United States now, as what we're seeing from New York and other states. And I was really glad when
the protective equipment even for the hospital workers, and so all the doctors are getting sick too.
Yes, I know. It's like in Italy and Spain where they've lost a lot of doctors. So I think the healthcare will have a lot of huge problems also afterwards. Yeah. But thank you for giving us this insight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Þá þakkum við bara fyrir áhorfið að sinni og sjáumst næst. Ég minni á Öryrkjaráðið á Facebook síðun okkar. Bless.